So, moving to the last scientific session of this evening, I invite our chairperson, Dr. Piyush Saxena, Professor, Head of Cardiology, Eminent Medical College, Prayagraj. Needs no introduction. Dr. Prabhat Singh, well-known neurologist of Prayagraj. Dr. Anurag Agarwal, dynamic and well-known orthopedician of Prayagraj. Dr. Anil Kumar, a well-known radiologist and alumni of Motilal Nehru Medical College, Prayagraj.
So we have reached the last leg of the whole scientific program, and yet this is another important topic, frozen shoulder. So a very disabling problem, जिसको होती है वही जानता है. तो आज न्यूरोलॉजिस्ट के मुंह से सुनते हैं कि जो सब लोग नहीं बताते हैं. I'll ask my chairperson to introduce the speaker.
Good evening, everyone. I feel a lot of pride in inviting Dr. Prakash Chand Pandey here. He's assistant professor in Department of Neurology, SDPJIMS. And before that, he was our MD student here. And it is such a proud moment for us that a lot of students of ours are here. Dr. Prakash, welcome. Thank you, Dr. Prakash.
Namaste, Prayagraj. It's always nostalgic to be here. अभी सर ने इंट्रोडक्शन दिया है मेरा. I'm deeply indebted and deeply rooted to this place. Thank you. Thank you, EMA and Gulab sir and team for inviting me for this talk. मैं इस टॉक में बाइलिंगुअल होऊंगा. एक्चुअली मेरा मोटिव है कि मैं चीज़ों को कम्युनिकेट कर सकूं. साइंटिफिक कम्युनिकेशन नहीं, अपनी इमोशनल कम्युनिकेशन को मैं आपको दे सकूं. और मैं चाहूँगा ये परकुलेट हुए इंफॉर्मेशन और कम्युनिकेशन. फ्रोजन सोल्जर टॉपिक पे आते हैं. आई थिंक नन ऑफ अस if didn't bear this problem, but our near and dear, some friends, some relative, definitely suffering from this problem. And we have feel their pain and agony by their heart as well as our bottom of heart. This topic not only academic to me, this is also emotional to me. My father develops the same problem, frozen shoulder, a decade later after diagnosis of diabetes mellitus. मुझे वो चीज़ें याद हैं. पिताजी मदद से कहते थे मेरा कंधा पकड़ करके मुझे दूसरी करवट करा दो. ही अनेबल टू टेक ए टर्न. उन्हें कुर्ता पहनना होता था. ही अनेबल टू मेक एबडक्शन एंड एक्सटर्नल रोटेशन ऑफ हिज जॉइंट्स. I tried to find this question, the answer of this question during my residency here, but unable to get. I'm fortunate enough, I went to a place where I able to got some answer of this question. Now, let's start. Term frozen shoulder, it was given by Codman in 1934, long time back. Actually, he given this terminology. He described slow insidious onset shoulder pain typically localized near the deltoid insertion, severe difficulty sleeping and the affected side, a marked and painful restriction in glenohumeroid movement, particularly regarding shoulder elevation and external rotation with normal X-ray. Decades ago, the description narrated by Codman is still true today. He also narrates it is difficult to diagnose, difficult to define, and difficult to treat. We all be surprised to hear that 100% of his patients, they take self-discharge. He used to admit these patients for treatment, but none of them got cured got benefit during admission, and all got discharges. And he also quoted, even the most protected cases recovered with or without treatment in about 2 years. This is still true in this era. Now, everyone knows shoulder pain followed by progressive loss of shoulder range of motion, especially in flexion, abduction, rotation. It may be due to primarily without underlying cause and could be secondary to trauma, shoulder surgery, prolonged embolization, that's all. These are stages conventionally taught in our orthopedics textbook. It started with painful stage, with freezing stage, frozen stage, and at last the melting stage, the thawing stage. Stories not started only with frozen shoulder. Around 6 decades back, Joplin also feel this condition and he coined the term periarthritis. And later on, around 2 decades, adhesive capsulitis term was used for frozen shoulder. I put a question mark here. Is it actually frozen shoulder? Is it actually only an orthopedic condition? I tabulated a couple of symptoms. Sensory symptoms, autonomic symptom, and motor symptom. Sensory symptom in frozen shoulder, we all are aware, there is a pain and hyperalgesia. Motor symptom, there is pain during the passive movement of the affected shoulder arm, humeral abduction as well as humeral external rotation. We all are aware about it. हम बीच की बात छोड़ रहे हैं, autonomic changes I am left out. Continuing with the criteria. Continuing pain, disproportionate to the any inciting event, and at least more than one symptoms, 3 out of the 4 criteria: sensory, vasomotor, pseudomotor, and are motor atrophic, and signs too. In the initial table, we have seen the sensory symptoms and the motor symptoms. Vasomotor symptoms and pseudomotor symptoms are basically their autonomic symptoms. I think some of us aware about this table. This is actually Budapest criteria. And Budapest criteria is criteria for complex regional pain syndrome. And the initial table which I have shown, it's actually scoring of different domains of complex regional pain syndrome. हम कहीं कुछ मिस तो नहीं कर रहे थे. हमने देखा पेन है, हमने देखा मोटरिटी सिम्टम्स हैं, डिफिकल्टी इन एब्डक्शन एंड एक्सटर्नल रोटेशन. हमने एक चीज़ मिस करी, हमने ऑटोनॉमिक चेंजेस को मिस करा. एक्चुअली वी यूज्ड टू मिस. All rest other criteria are just similar to complex regional pain syndrome. The symptoms of frozen shoulder are just same as complex regional pain syndrome. I think a little bit visualization is there. ये Thursday OPD में मैंने एक पेशेंट का लिया. I think we can appreciate the change in between those palms. The red circled palm has a little bit darker in color in comparison to another one. This is actually autonomic change. Change in color or change in there is edema, there is a loss of hairs or such any other things. Each frozen shoulder is complex regional pain syndrome 1. I have written here 1 due to as if there is no appreciable nerve injury, then it is called as type 1. If there is appreciable nerve injury, it is type 2. Frozen shoulder, adhesive capsulitis, and CRPS1 shares several common features including pain, progressive stiffness, reduced range of motion, stage progression, and similar imaging finding. Actually, initial imaging findings were normal, X-ray normal. MRI have a couple of changes and both have similar findings. Therefore, some researcher proposes the frozen shoulder adhesive capsulitis may represent the same clinical entity as complex regional type 1. ये मैं नहीं कह रहा हूँ, research का. There is a recent paper and they proposes the adhesive capsulitis of shoulder is a form of CRPS1. Another one, post-stroke, the post-stroke frozen shoulder, it is nothing else, it is the complex regional pain syndrome. Another one. Frozen shoulder, it accompanies CRPS1. Why this is so? आज हम मैडम ने कहा ना कि आज न्यूरोलॉजिस्ट के मुंह से सुनते हैं. हमसे इसलिए सुनना हो रहा है कि एक्चुअल इटियोलॉजी कहीं और है. It is not the only muscle, it is not only tendon, it is not only bone. Actually, they are the cytokines. You can search in literature. I have taken just a single example, and we found there are lots of cytokines, especially tumor necrosis factor, and interleukins. They play key role in development of Frisian soldier or CRPS1. This is the meta-analysis which shows their correlation. This is the actual pathophysiology. मैं डिटेल में नहीं जाऊँगा इस पे. मुझे अपनी बात को कम्युनिकेट करना है. It is not only belongs to muscle, not only belongs to tendon, not only belongs to bone. Actually, it belongs to something else. It belongs to molecular level, and they are the cytokines. And हम efficiently क्यों नहीं treat कर पा रहे हैं? मैं भी नहीं कर पाता था. Nobody can say. The only potent anti-inflammatory or anti-cytokine agent, it is steroid. Nothing could work. Only a potent anti-inflammatory drug, that is steroid, could work in this case. Our group have done lots of work in CRPS, in treatment as well as their basic pathophysiology. One of the paper which was a comparison in between the piroxicam and prednisolone, and there is a huge difference in between the both groups. It is actually the steroid group, their pain melts just like ice. Another paper, long-term prednisolone in post-stroke complex CRPS. There are some bony changes and which can be elicited with bone scan, which could be also elaborated. Our group have done some research also in this. Regarding molecular level, we have also shown these interleukins and TNF, they are actually much elevated in comparison to control. And after treatment, their level, maximum time their levels got decreases in patient, which clinically we can appreciate in form of their relief in pain as well as their agony. We thought, why not recently we published a randomized control trial to compare the strength of steroid, low dose steroid versus high dose steroid. And to our surprise, we found, this is the Kaplan-Meier, we found both groups show similar benefit. Not even in their benefit days, as well as their overall response rate similar in both groups. Then we thought, why we should use the lower doses of steroid? Why should go for high dose of steroid? And in this paper, we received lots of comments from editors as well as other peoples. And one of the reviewers says, why you are not using it in diabetes? We answered his queries, and we have planned a randomized control trial, which is in advanced stage of publication in European Neurology. Efficacy and tolerability of 20 mg prednisolone in diabetes mellitus with CRPS, which is generally called as frozen soldier. And what we found, all these patients were well-controlled diabetes. None of them were having any complication. They have controlled diabetes with pain and their range of motion restriction. And we found just in day 5, in this patient which is in severe pain, मैं बहुत narrate नहीं करूँगा उसे, patient started benefiting, as well as in their score rate, which initially table I have shown, both having shown beautiful benefits. Story is not so easy. Steroid has its complications also. In the steroid group, maximum of the patients have their increment in blood pressure, hypocalcemia, hyperglycemia, and anti-diabetic augmentations were also done. But they can be managed beautifully. So, despite these similarities, treatment outcome for frozen soldier adhesive capsularity remain unsatisfactory. Reason seems to be unawareness. It often results in significant morbidity in form of persistent pain and decreased range of motion, which we used to see. And I have shown the several trials to demonstrate efficacy of oral corticosteroid in CRPS1 and these findings should apply to frozen soldier and CRPS-1. Adhesive capsulitis, which is actually CRPS-1. Initially, I have put a question mark. This question mark is actually complex regional pain syndrome 1. Periarthritis, frozen soldier, adhesive capsulitis, ये सारे के सारे एक ही स्पेक्ट्रम के हैं CRPS-1 के. And the low dose steroid is safe and can be considered in well-controlled diabetic patients. बस इतना सा मैसेज है मेरा. क्योंकि पैथोफिजियोलॉजी, again I am repeating third time, is not only muscle, not only tendon, not only bone, but it is something else at a molecular level. These are the cytokines, and we need a potent anti-inflammatory agent that is so simple and so cheap. It is steroid, but should be used cautiously and judiciously. Thank you.
Sir, thanks a lot for the wonderful new concept of introducing the molecular phenomena in the adhesive capsulitis. What I feel that being an orthopedic surgeon, we always have the option of injecting a steroid in the glenohumeral joint as well as the subacromial space, and in that way we can avoid giving the oral steroid, which obviously has many side effects.
Sir, very rightly pointing. Actually, sir, in multiple trials, even in RCTs, there are lots of infections patient developed after injection in their spaces. We have also planned that one, but that way, the actual etiology, वो जो आत्मा, बीमारी की आत्मा है, we are unable to address. If there is a pain, उंगली में पेन है तो उंगली काट दिया जाए. तो I'm not against about this concept, but we are trying to address the origin, Atma. That's it.
Sir, my next question will be, how long should be the therapy for the low-dose corticosteroid? Because it probably will last for around 4, 6, 8, 9 months. So when do we have to stop?
Sir, the first trial done decades back by our group, in which we used it for around 1 month. Later on, we found the patient got revert back. Patient reverted back around 3 to 4 months back. Then we have planned for a long-term steroid. And in that trial, we had found low dose, even we started with 20, and later on it up to 5, around 1 to 1.5 months, 5 milligram prednisolone, it is quite enough. And the 3 months duration, it is quite enough. And no one returned back. In our diabetic patient trial, we have used a similar protocol, but for the shorter duration. As there is possibility of more hypoglycemia. And we found that 15 full-hearted initial dose of 20 milligram steroid followed by tapering for next 15 days is quite okay. What we have done, sir?
Dr. Prakash, you have noticed these patients with the stroke, post-stroke pain,
Sir.
you have got more wonderful result with the steroid than other patient who has got other disease. If you get steroid, then we will get more result with those who have got a stroke. We say post-stroke pain, some other type of periarthritis, you get more better results with the steroids than those other diseases. If you compare, then we can find somehow, sometimes I feel why we have got this type of better result in stroke patient than other patient after giving steroids.
सर बाकी हम ट्राई करके देखते हैं, डायबिटीज वगैरह देखते हैं, आप देखें, यू विल गॉट द सिमिलर रिजल्ट. बाकी सर आई वांट टू मेक क्लियर वन थिंग, पोस्ट स्ट्रोक पेन इज ए डिफरेंट थिंग and post-stroke CRPS is a different thing. Post-stroke pain, it is a disabling condition, very hurting to treat. Patient never responded to anything. I want to say that post-stroke pain, that is basically due to thalamic stroke, having paresthesia, pain, and they usually didn't responded. But their post-stroke CRPS, they are beautifully responded with steroid. Sir.
Mostly we are talking about the post-stroke CRPS.
Yes.
They are basically responding with the stride. Then the other type of this periarthritis, capsulitis, and or frozen soldier. Then the stroke patients have got better results, I think.
Sir, we found the same actually. I can't say, but both are same, sir, far as. हाँ, एक चीज़ और sir. Autonomic symptoms are more in stroke-related patients. Stroke-related CRPS, they have more autonomic symptoms, sir. That's maybe there. उनमें हमने अलग से नहीं करा CRP, उनके अलग से हमने cytokines level करके नहीं करा था, sir. But maybe they have more elevated level of cytokines. They respond more better way. That may be reason, sir. Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Prakash. Thank you for your nice frozen soldier, new concept of giving this frozen soldier.
Sir, actually it is not new, but a new vision.
Thank you, Dr. Prakash Chand Pandey. Now for the felicitation ceremony, I would like to call Dr. Ashok Mishra, President AMA, Dr. Ashutosh Gupta, Secretary AMA, Dr. Aruba Srivastav, Scientific Secretary, Dr. Gulab Soni, Organizing Secretary. I also invite all the chairperson and a speaker. And a very special thanks to Dr. Anand Mishra, sir, Senior Physician of a city. Please give him a huge round of applause. Despite of his illness, he is there. Thank you, sir. अच्छा